I'm not gonna lie, guys. I've actually shot this voiceover 3 times, and you can probably tell that my voice is about gone because I spent half of my time yelling and ranting and screaming because of how much I hated Echo. I hate it. It's absolute trash. And the fact that it's split amazes me. I don't know why anybody would like this. Not only is it boring, not only that they put too much focus on her being Native American, not only did they put too much focus on her being an amputee, as well as her being deaf, which I will say this, and I'm going to actually start off before I go into the bad, which is a lot of it. I'm going to say this, something good. I absolutely love the entrance music. I love the beginning music, the intro music to the series. And I think it's called Burning by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. It actually is pretty cool. And I'm not going to lie, they went the Netflix route when they actually did the theme. They went the Netflix route, which I think was a smart move. I will say that I like the perspectives they had between Echo and the audience. The fact that she wouldn't hear anything, but then it switched up and then we end up hearing stuff. I like that perspective. I will give them that. But everything else, no. I will not. I refuse. Because there's a lot of things that I hated about this series. And mainly, what I hate the most is what they did to the Kingpin. I will get into that, the ending, later on. But I will say this. They did everything they could to draw in fans from the Netflix series to get them to watch this show. And it's a given because it doesn't make any sense for Daredevil in his red suit to encounter Echo, because the first person that Echo encountered was Ronan. And Ronan was around during the snap. So how in the world can she have encountered Daredevil in his red suit when she encountered Ronan first? And now I'm going to get into the Kingpin. For those that haven't seen my three Faces of Kingpin video, or my 3 stages, I forgot the title name, but I'll put it up there if you guys are interested. I absolutely love the Kingpin. He's one of my favorite Marvel characters, my favorite Marvel villain. And how the Netflix series did him, they did him almost perfect. They made him very charismatic, as well as him being a monster. But it was the fact that he was a draw. People were drawn to him because of his charisma. But he had a dark side. He couldn't hold his temper. But he was incredibly loyal to people he loved. Hence why he would go to the ends of the earth for Vanessa. I loved Vincent D'Onofrio's character, his version of the Kingpin. And good Lord, what did they do to him? I will say that he's still the same monster, but he's just a freaking thug now. There's nothing special about him anymore. He was an incredibly smart man that underestimated everybody in the Netflix series. You would think that you would never know he could speak Mandarin, but he will fool you every time. As soon as they leave the room, he'll start speaking Mandarin to a Chinese woman. And I forgot her name. But to that madam, that drug queen pin, all of a sudden he was speaking Mandarin. Nobody knew. He keeps people on their toes. He was absolutely unpredictable. That's what I loved about Vincent D'Onofrio's character and his portrayal of the Kingpin. He would look like a good guy, but be a villain underneath, and no one would know. They made him a common thug here. They didn't make him special at all. He had a connection to Echo, but in the end, it didn't make any sense. It made sense in Hawkeye because she found out what he did to her father. It made sense there, but now it's to the point where she wants to be a queen pin. She wants to go for power. What is your motivation here? What about your dad? Did your dad matter to you? I don't know what they were trying to do with Echo, but she absolutely had no direction whatsoever, let alone an arc. And with 5 episodes, it's impossible to create an arc in 5 episodes. They really messed her up, and they had everything in their power to make her good. They could have made her better than what she was, but no, they did not. And that was very disappointing. Her family members, no one really cares because you didn't even bother to see them on the screen. They were on screen for like mere minutes, except for Biscuits, and Biscuits was always there. occasionally, but you didn't know why he would follow Echo to the ends of the earth. Well, she was Maya, but follow Maya to the ends of the earth. You have no idea why. You didn't understand the connection she had with these people after these people kind of abandoned her. And whoever wrote the dialogue for Maya's grandmother needs to be fired. Because if you're trying to make the Choctaw community look great, you're not making the grandmother look great when you write her to come off as racist. Sorry, she kind of did. She kind of came off as racist in a small way. Because I don't think that her father was Native American. I think her father was Latino. And it didn't make any sense for her to not only excommunicate her granddaughter. I understand why you would excommunicate yourself from your father, your son-in-law. I would get it. But the granddaughter, how does that make any sense? I hate drama for the sake of drama. There were so many directions they could have went here, but they chose not to. And that bothered me the most. There's no connection she has with her family. So why is her family important in this? Why would it matter if they lived or died? Why is she going out of her way to get them in trouble, to get after Wilson Fisk and send a message? She gets on a train, breaks into a train, don't steal anything, puts a bomb in there, not really knowing how she got the chemicals to make the bomb, and blows up an arsenal of weapons. Why? I don't know. To send a message to Fisk? Why? For what? What is your motivation? I don't think she had one. And yes, do I think there was an overuse of sign language? Yeah, there is. And I know people are like, well, she's deaf. How's she going to communicate? There are other ways. There are other ways that people who are hearing impaired can communicate. Other ways. But I'm saying, like, for the scenes that it need to be in, why spend 5 minutes in every scene doing sign when there's no subtitles? Sometimes the subtitles will pop up, sometimes they wouldn't. Then there was a scene where they actually had it typed in there. They did it their own way and had it there, but then they took it off. And then for the rest of the time, you had to figure out what was going on. Maybe it's my television set, I don't know. If you didn't have a problem, sit in the comments. But honestly, it was frustrating because half the time I didn't know what was going on. Sometimes I think they put the sign language in there for the sake of. And yes, I know that was a form of what she had to use to communicate. But every single scene in every episode, you had to have 4 of them? That was the exact same way? There had to be a way to get your point across and let the audience know who are not hearing impaired and who do not use sign language to understand what's going on. But they couldn't do that. And the sad thing is that the editing was so choppy, I had no idea what was going on from one scene to the next. I was like, okay, she was just here, but how did she get here? Who is this person? I had no idea. And don't get me started on the ancestors. Nothing against the Choctaw community. I have no issue at all with the portrayal of the Choctaw community's ancestors. I don't know. I'm not Choctaw. I don't know Choctaw history. But I will say this. Nobody explained who these people are. Are they from another planet, another dimension? Are they tree people? Are they in tune with nature? What are they? Who are they? Where did they come from? Explain to me why the women only have this power. When we saw men in the first scene that came out in the same direction, out of the same portal that the women came out of. How come they don't have it too? Honestly, if you guys really do want inclusion, can you include the men too? And honestly, it would be beautiful as the whole for the Choctaw community if that was a part of their history, to have everyone who is a descendant of them have it. Not just a few, not just the women. And what does this power do? Give them the ability to fight. Okay, sure. They're able to kick people's behinds when they have glowing hands and be strong within. Really? That's their superpower, just to be efficient? Really? The superpower of efficiency. Okay. All right. Sure. Okay. Even though that's not her superpower. Her ability, her supernatural ability was to be able to copy people's moves, to predict their actions before they could do it. Whoever created that stupid ability to be efficient is stupid. Fire them, please. Or at least take them to some place to show them how to write. Because that's just ridiculous and dumb in itself. And oh my gosh, don't get me started on the ending. It was bad enough that it was a complete drag to get through 4 episodes of this. The 5th one, I'm like, the 4th episode, I'll say this. The one reason why I completely watched this series all the way through was for the Kingpin. I am a massive fan of Vincent D'Onofrio's version of the Kingpin. And I was willing to suffer to watch it all the way through. And oh my gosh, what they did to him in the very end really pissed me off. That was the worst ending I ever seen in my entire life. And nobody should suffer through that, man. It was so disappointing. And not only that, these people had the sheer gall to tie in this horrible garbage monstrosity of a series in with the Netflix season 1 show of Daredevil. They had to tie this in with season 1 of Daredevil on Netflix. I am not kidding. There were so many references to Daredevil season 1 that I'm just like, please don't do this. Please don't do this. Make it your own thing. Don't throw in something that's great into garbage. Please don't. And they did. And that made me angrier. Guys, this is a garbage fire. The editing was bad. They didn't bother to give any of the characters arcs. They didn't even bother to give any of the characters connections to Maya to where we would actually care. Echo herself, Maya herself, was a horrible character that constantly put her family in danger without caring at all what was going to happen to them until the very end when she got her superpowers of efficiency. She's a horrible character. She's not horrible in the comics. I wouldn't be shocked if she's way better in the comics, but she's horrible here. Not to mention, yeah, I know, Echo was never an amputee. She was hearing impaired, but she was never an amputee. They took the character and molded it around the actress, which is what you should never do. You should find someone that actually fits the character and portrays the character well, not take the character and mold it around the actress. Nothing against Aquila Cox. I got nothing against her. I got nothing against her at all. And if I mispronounce her name, I'm sorry. But nothing against her as an actress. Nothing against her. But I think her casting was not right. They should have found somebody else. They could find anybody else that could do it. But they picked the wrong person. And it's not because she did a horrible job. It's just she didn't fit the character at all. And whoever wrote for her, I'm sorry. They did a horrible job writing for her. This was a dumpster fire. Not even bother watching. They did a horrible job with the Kingpin towards the end. I will say this. His loyalty towards her, and honestly the fact that he didn't get his eye shot out didn't make any sense to me. But his loyalty towards her made sense for the Netflix series because he was incredibly loyal to Vanessa. But how it ended made no sense. The fact that Charlie Cox was even in this as Daredevil made no sense. It was just to draw people in. They did the same exact thing with She-Hulk. But I am sick to death of talking about Echo. This is a 0. This doesn't even bother to get any stars. It just exists. And anybody that likes this, I don't understand. I don't get why this is a mixed bag. And anyone that actually says that the violence was, oh my gosh, horrendous, it was not. This was Disney's not so scary Halloween version of violence. This wasn't even scary. Just like how the Multiverse of Madness was not scary. This was pathetic. This was lazy. They didn't even bother to try. And if people choose to unsubscribe to Disney Plus, I get it. Because I don't think that they're gonna do anything better after this. I think it's all downhill from here.